And then he comes and asks for more. Eh? And goes and eats it.
I'll never forget the day I first laid eyes on Comet, a tiny domestic rat trembling in fear, barely alive after being dumped in a bush. I'm Brenda, and this is his story. A kind woman rescued him when her dog sniffed him out, cowering in the underbrush, shaking from dehydration and weakness. He was in rough shape, a fragile little creature who couldn't survive in the wild as a domestic rat. My heart broke thinking about how someone could abandon him, leaving him to die alone. So, he was rushed to a vet hospital, where he spent 7 days under constant care. The vet even took him home at night with an oxygen tank, feeding him and keeping him hydrated around the clock. Comet grew stronger each day, and after that week, he came to me for rehabilitation. But when he arrived, he was still terrified of human touch, flinching at every move I made. His fear-filled eyes hit me hard. How could anyone toss him aside like garbage? So I set him up in a quiet quarantine space for 2.5 weeks, keeping him away from my other rats to avoid any health risks. I'd spend hours by his cage, talking softly, offering bits of food, watching him nibble cautiously. The more he ate, the better he looked. His dull fur started to shine, and his shaky movements steadied a bit. I was hopeful, but Comet's fear of touch made me worry he'd never trust anyone. His progress was slow, and I'd catch myself wondering if he'd ever feel safe. So I kept my routine steady, sitting with him daily, letting him get used to my voice and presence. Then came the game changer. I introduced him to Faye, one of my gentlest rats. I was nervous. Comet was so fragile, and I didn't know if he could handle another rat's energy. But Faye seemed to understand his pain right away. She approached him slowly, lying down beside him, calm and patient. For about 10 minutes, Comet stayed tense, watching her closely, but then he relaxed, realizing she meant no harm. That was it. They bonded, and I swear I saw a spark light up in him. Faye's empathy changed everything. Comet started walking more, his strength growing faster than I'd expected. He'd snuggle with her, and I'd watch them curled up together, feeling this warmth in my chest. Their bond gave him courage, but it also showed me how much rats can care for each other. So I let them spend more time together, and Comet's personality began to shine. He went from a scared, trembling rat to one who craves cuddles, melting into my hand the moment I pick him up. He'll groom me constantly, his tiny tongue tickling my fingers like he's pouring out all the love he'd held back. Comet doesn't just love me. He adores any human who gives him attention, scampering over for pets and soaking up every bit of affection. But he's got a sassy side, too. He gets downright grumpy when I leave for work without him, sitting by the door like he's giving me a lecture. So when I get home, he's the first to greet me, his little paws pattering as he races over to say hi. I'll scoop him up and he'll nuzzle into my neck, like he's been waiting all day for that moment. Comet's lucky to get weekly physical therapy, sometimes more, to manage his pain. He's estimated to be between 1.5 and 2 years old, which is old for a rat, and he's got arthritis that slows him down. But he loves his therapy sessions, stretching out and basking in the care like it's a treat. I take him to the vet every other week to keep his pain under control, making sure he's got the best life possible. So we do all these extra therapies, and I can see the difference. They keep his eyes bright and his spirit strong. From the moment I took Comet in as a foster, I knew he was mine. I felt a connection, maybe because I've got my own history of trauma. I know what it's like to live with fear and pain, and I believe every living thing, human or rat, deserves a life free from that, filled with love. But caring for Comet hasn't been a walk in the park. Some nights, I'd lie awake worrying about his health, wondering if his arthritis was flaring or if he was comfortable enough. So I'd check on him, fluffing his bedding, offering a treat, making sure he felt secure. Comet's progress still blows my mind. He went from a rat too scared to be touched to one who can't get enough affection, climbing onto my shoulder or nuzzling my cheek. I'll watch him snuggle with Faye, the two of them in a fuzzy pile, and feel this deep gratitude. He didn't just survive that bush, he chose to trust, to open his heart after everything he'd been through. But there are moments that remind me of his past. Sometimes, a loud noise will make him freeze, his body tense, like he's back in that terrifying place. So, I'll hold him close, stroking his fur until he relaxes, purring in his own quiet way. What gets me most is how Comet's love spills over to everyone. He'll scamper to visitors, eager for pets, like he's determined to share the kindness he's found. I think about how close he came to not making it, left in that bush, dehydrated and weak, with no one to care. But that woman's dog found him, and she got him to the vet, and now he's here, thriving with me. So, I keep helping rats like Comet, the ones who've been hurt the most, because I know what it's like to need a second chance, to need someone to believe in you. Every day with Comet feels like a gift. Whether he's grooming Faye, begging for cuddles, or just chilling in his cage, nibbling a treat, he's proof that love can heal even the deepest wounds. I'll sit with him sometimes, watching him explore his little world and think about how far he's come. He's not just a pet, he's a little soul who's taught me about resilience, about trusting again after fear. But I know his time is limited, with his age and arthritis weighing on him. So, I make every moment count, giving him all the love and care I can, knowing he's giving it right back. I think about that bush where Comet was found, how he must have been so scared, thinking he was alone for good. It makes my heart heavy, imagining him shaking, too weak to move. But then I look at him now, scampering around, happy and safe, and I'm reminded that second chances can work miracles. Comet's story isn't just about a rat who survived. It's about finding love after fear, about choosing to let people in, even after the world lets you down. Every time he melts into my hand or greets me at the door, I'm grateful for him, for the way he's shown me that even the smallest creatures can have the biggest hearts. Sometimes I'll hold Comet close, feeling his tiny heartbeat, and think about all the rats out there who don't get a chance like his. It pushes me to keep going, to keep helping the ones who need it most. But for now, I focus on Comet, making sure his days are filled with warmth and joy. He's my reminder that healing is possible, that love can rebuild what's broken. And every cuddle, every little groom is his way of saying he's home, safe, and loved. Thank you for watching. If you liked the story, feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. See you in the next video.